It's showtime at Homestead, Miami.
Andre Baranowskis at the line, steals it in the Indy 250.
Look at the back, in trouble, and they go. Gordon to the wall, jumps right around.
Side by side on the final lap, coming to the checkered flag.
Steve Morgan, the last lap half, and the victory in Las Vegas.
Welcome to the NOFSRL.
Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 5 in season number 9 of the NOFSRL Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. We are here at Atlanta, the Atlanta Motor Speedway, one of my favorite races of the year. It's the SunTrust 500, formerly the Kids Colors 500. We changed the name. I know, a lot of people were not happy about that last year, but you know what? We gotta move on from some things. It's just the way it is. But either way, we're here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. 65 laps of action around this 1.54-mile racetrack in Hampton, Georgia. And I got someone alongside me who's never done a race with me before. But trust me, he's gonna do just fine. Isn't that right, Jonathan?
I hope so. I don't think I will, but
I think you will. I think you'll be just fine. Jonathan Logan alongside me here for the SunTrust 500, and we're expecting an interesting race here because we're on a new version of the Atlanta Motor Speedway once again, but this time the middle and outside lanes have a lot more strength than they used to. We're not going to be seeing that cycle race like we've seen in past SunTrust 500, so passing is going to be a little bit more difficult. You're going to have to earn those passes for the race lead a lot more than you used to, so how do you think that's going to affect who ends up in victory lane later on today?
you see, it can lead to multiple chances for passing. They can probably switch lanes, and it'll be tougher to get around people, but it can lead to better racing, I say. I think it's going to affect who gets in victory lane by just how intense the racing will be. It can probably get to some of these drivers, and how hot this track really is. It can probably get into a lot of these drivers.
It probably will, and something we saw in yesterday's Turkey Hill Series race was that as the tires wore out, they tend to move up the racetrack and slide into a wall just a little bit more, and then ended up causing a wreck, which led to another wreck and another wreck in that race. We went the first 3/4 of the race yesterday without a caution. In the final third of the race, we had about 3 cautions, and most of the race at the end was run under caution. We're hoping it doesn't happen here today, but as the tires wear out, we could see these guys gravitate up the racetrack and lose grip through the corner and hit the wall, which could lead to a wreck later on. We're expecting a 2-stop race here today with the field window right around 28 to 30 laps. That is just a rough estimate. We'll see how it plays out if this thing stays green, of course. But a lot of variables in this race that we have not had in this race in prior years. It's going to make an interesting Atlanta race in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. SunTrust 500 here on this Saturday afternoon. This is how they line up in the championship standings coming into this race. Pretty fitting. The car that won this race last year is leading in the points with a different driver. It's Bradley Ream, the new points leader. Rookie driver, by the way. 136 points towards the championship. Reagan Whitlock, 11 points behind Nicholas Samadeo. Highest, well, Whitlock's a veteran, but Samadeo's highest returning veteran, 19 points behind Trey Bartow, who was the points leader last week, now 20 points behind, and Ryan Durrani, Whitlock's teammate at Full Frontal Motorsports, which, by the way, this is a home race for that team, and also a home race for your team, Father Fruit Motorsports, as well, so got a lot of home things going on here at Atlanta. This is the home of Chick-fil-A, the home of SunTrust, of course. Home of Full Frontal Motorsports and all of their sponsors, home of Father Fruit Motorsports, so home of a lot of things. That's why we love this race so much, and we're definitely looking forward to getting this one underway here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Saw qualifying yesterday, saw that Cody Sill won the pole position in the number 37 for Golden Motorsports. And alongside him, the number 12 of Nathan Faden had a rough going at Phoenix last week. Got involved in an accident late in the going. Actually got involved in both accidents last week, but looking to rebound for Velocitar Racing and the number 12. Row number 2, your driver, Keegan Thompson, with a new sponsor, new paint scheme. A great paint scheme, I might add. He's alongside Gatlin Downey there in row number 2. Tristan Allen's alongside Diego Pez for row number 3. Then we have ourselves Ryan Durrani and Sam Askin, a couple of rookies there in row 4. Great starting position for Cameron Garlington in the 34. as he starts alongside the 38 of Dale Lightning teammates at American Motorsports, looking to rebound from the tough season they've had so far here in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. So, Jonathan, I know you don't know the drivers in this series that well, but who do you think is going to get the race victory here today in the SunTrust 500?
Me being a little biased here, I got Keegan Thompson in that number 5 car. He's going to get the win for Fox Motorsports and in that new Thorn.
We'll have to see. Definitely be exciting if they were to win in their first race. Thorn coming on board there for the number 5 team. It'll be exciting to see if the rookie can get his first career Napa fan win as well, just like Silas Horta almost did last week at Phoenix. But you gotta beat those veterans, and we got a veteran starting on the front row. His name is Cody Sill, and as the pace car pulls off, we're green flag racing in the SunTrust 500 at Atlanta.
Keegan Thompson already looking on the inside of that 37 Cody Sill. Tristan Allen giving him a push from back. Got the 68 Ryan Durrani looking on the inside of Tristan Allen. Gonna try to make a run for the lead here.
Durrani on the inside of Thompson, and we had about 2 passes for the lead on that first lap right there. Durrani is going to get a bonus point towards the championship for that. Thompson on the outside lane right here, and you can tell they're bumping around this racetrack. It is a bumpy racetrack, and we saw it yesterday as well. But with these guys going even faster, those bumps are more violent as they roll around this racetrack. Tristan Allen trying to work the inside, but Ryan Durrani working that outside lane just like we said. That outside lane is going to be strong here today, and Durrani showing us that right there as he leads the first 2 laps of the race.
Keegan Thompson falling back to 6th now. Durrani still up in the front, and Tristan Allen being pressured by the Nicholas Amadeo, I believe.
Yeah, 48, Nicholas Amadeo. He's a little bit upset about what happened to him last week at Phoenix. Dominated that event there in the desert and ended up falling to 14th after the cycle of pit stops. A couple of guys hit the outside wall right there. Faden and Yepez. And that's what we were talking about. That outside lane, while it's fast, you gotta hit it perfectly or otherwise you're gonna shoot up and hit it again. And Faden continues.
Faden having problems here, must have something wrong with that car after hitting it the first time.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage to the left side of that machine, and with these guys going as fast as they are, they're going much faster than they are in the Turkey Hill Series. We didn't see this as much in the Turkey Hill Series, but Faden and Yepez and around! Wyatt Quayle hard in the outside wall! Ickwan has him as well caught up in this one, and barrel rolling down the front stretch is Jacob Hammond, the Turkey Hill Hot Series driver. Oh my, a vicious hit in the back. And Eli Bright's caught up. Dale Lightning in the 38. Brett Sierra and Wyatt Quayle in the 39 as well with heavy damage.
That was a hard hit for Haslam.
It was. Race back to the line, won by Ryan Durrani in the 38 machine. He will most likely lead us to the restart. I don't think this guy's going to come down the pit lane quite yet. My goodness, they were really jamming it up back in there, and unfortunately we see the result of that. Mitchell Henderson, Wyatt Quayle's teammate, also caught up in this one. Finished 2nd last week at Phoenix. It's not going to be a 2nd place finish for him here today. Ickwan has him also caught up in this one heavily. John Hart might have gotten a piece of it. And well, I said they might not come down the pit lane. They might actually decide against that and come down. You see Wyatt Quayle and Dale Lightning in the middle of all these guys, but here we go. First cycle of pit stops. I'd imagine, this is going to be close here. They could end up making the race on one more stop if we get another caution or two, which after what we saw right there is very possible. But Ryan Durrani's led every lap so far in this race, surprisingly. Going to lead the field down the pit lane, and we'll have to see if he can win the race off here from Atlanta. Looks like Durrani might be going fuel only. He is. So just topping off on the fuel. They don't think they need to change tires, even though some guys are changing tires. Durrani wins the race off. Cody Sill, Patrick Smith, Tristan Allen, and it looks like Herjo Larvin Alonso going to be 5th off the pit lane in the 28. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring up the first caution of the day here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Massive accident just before the start-finish line on lap number 4 here at Atlanta. Well, you see right here, 4 wide, and Wyatt Quayle forced the issue down low, and Iquan Haslam and Eli Bright, they got into each other right there. Dale Lightning going around. Lightning had also fallen back after he started up front in this race, and then Wyatt Quayle gets clipped, and right here, Haslam has nowhere he can go, and right where the dog leg ends up curving on the wall is where Haslam hit, so he hit at a really bad angle, went upside down. Jacob Hammond in the 21 also went upside down. Mitchell Henderson had nowhere to go. Eli Bright going around. John R. got a piece of it, but of all the guys involved, he was definitely the guy who's in the best shape. Brett Sear had nowhere to go, and you can see the 21 flying through the air. Unbelievable tumble there out of the number 21 machine of Jacob Hammond.
I won't be surprised if Haslam and Quayle have a few words after this race.
Yeah, Wyatt Quayle kind of forcing the issue there. We'll have to go back and see how he ended up forcing the issue there in the number 39.
As you can see, Quayle just gets onto that left rear fender and then just forces Haslam up, and that just has a springboard effect from there. Hard hit for Haslam right there, and just slides upside down. Big hit for everybody involved in that wreck. The 21 just... How many flips was that, like 5?
I think it was a lot more than 5.
You sure?
It was probably 5 times 5.
Maybe.
It was a lot there for Hammond. Such a tough break for Haslam and Hammond there. But, that's just the nature of the game sometimes. A wild accident. Hopefully with the single file restart we can avoid a situation like that from happening later on in this race. But either way, we had some split strategy there on that pit stop. Some guys took no tires, some guys did. We'll have to see if that plays into effect on who gets the lead here in a few moments. But either way, Ryan Durrani continues to lead. Let's go ahead and see what happens on the restart here in the SunTrust 500 from Atlanta. We're back here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Ryan Durrani is the race leader. He has led every lap so far in this race, surprisingly. I don't know if that's going to be the case throughout the whole day, but a great run for Durrani so far here at Atlanta for local fast food chain Arby's. They also hail from Atlanta, just like Father Free Motorsports and Full Frontal Motorsports do, and that's what's going on right now, with Ryan Durrani leading the race in the 68. 37 of Cody Sill. Pole sitter is second. Patrick Smith, Tristan Allen, here, Joe Larson, Alonso. I know all those guys did not take tires. Not sure who the first ever was who did take tires, but there are some back in there who did, and it'll be important to see who gets to the lead as this race goes along. Last year's Atlanta winner Nathan Baird going to be restarting in the 6th position. Drivers out of the race include Dale Lightning, Wyatt Quayle, Mitchell Henderson, Eli Bright, Iquan Haslam, and Jacob Hammond. I believe John Arndt is a lap down in the 05. And I have a couple of guys who are going to be straggling the field. Brett Sear and Nathan Faden with issues. Of course, you remember with Faden, he ended up scraping the outside wall significantly before that accident happened, so that might be why he has fallen behind in the number 12. Race lead is still Durrani. Cody Sill going up the racetrack here, and Alonso with a full head of steam on the inside with help from Nicholas Amadio.
As you can see, Keegan Thompson fell back a little bit. Patrick Smith kind of got a good piece of that pit stop cycle. Durrani falling back the 26, I believe?
28. Alonso
28,
there in the 28, but here comes last year's Atlanta winner Nathan Baird to the inside. And just as fast as Thompson got on the outside, he's back to the inside of Nicholas Amadia right there for the 3rd position. Great run for Thompson so far in this race. And it is wild out there. You can tell these guys are slipping. Samadio! Oh, that was a little too much right there as he entered the corner, and he's in the outside wall just a little bit. Got a piece of Cody Sill right there. That was a close one between Sill and Samadio. Thankfully, they kept it together, but they are not handling this racetrack too well. They have slid up into the outside wall quite a bit here today at Atlanta.
Keegan Thompson back up to 2nd, trying to find the line to pass Nathan Baird. He might be saving, trying to wait for the right moment to get past Nathan Baird. Brad Stover changing up to
the 3rd position right there in number 99. Great run for Stover. Haven't seen much of Stover yet this season. Here's Whitlock 2nd in the points. And I think the tires are already starting to wear out. I can tell they're slowing down through the corner a lot more than they were a few laps ago. So this thing is going to start to settle down a little bit, hopefully, and maybe race this thing out. Thompson a little wide. Alonso's now going to hit the outside wall. This is something we really didn't expect too much of in this race. These guys shooting up there. We didn't see it near as much in the Turkey Hill Series race, but those guys did have a little bit more grip than these guys do. But Alonso definitely not helping himself out. More 4 wide off the corner. Tristan Allen's got to be careful with Kukul onto his inside, but they keep it green for now. Good job out of these guys. A lot of these guys veterans keeping together, but it's a tough break there for Alonso, falling back in the number 28 machine. And now Thompson in the outside wall.
As this race goes on, I believe they're just going to try going up to find more grip, trying to find the rubber, and when they don't, they get loose and hit the wall, and it just sucks. Tough break for most of these guys when they get in the...
Yeah, they are really, really pushing it. We were not expecting this, did not have this type of racing in the testing, but let me tell you, it is exciting up front. Reagan Whitlock for Full Frontal Motorsports, to the point. He gets around Nathan Baird. How about Daniel McMillan? I'm telling you, this guy had a tough season so far, had so many good runs, especially at Auto Club and Phoenix, both times finishing deep in the field. And he's looking to rebound here. He's going to the inside for the race lead on Reagan Whitlock, but he's 41st in the points. Seth Cole, who's a Turkey Hill Hot Series driver, has more points than Daniel McMillan does already. Of course, Cole's made 2 starts, but McMillan last in the points of all the full-time guys, but it's not because he hasn't been running well. They've just had so much bad luck in the past few races, but knock on wood, they're leading the field now in the number 79. McMillan looking for his 3rd Chick-Fil-A Cup Series race victory. Sam Adio in the wall again. It seems to be the same drivers doing it. And his teammate getting into him. Fisher G with a bit of contact there. Now, one thing I will mention, all these guys hitting that outside wall has split the pack up, and we got guys all over the place here at Atlanta right now. Nick Smith also in the outside wall. This is intense right here. I haven't seen this type of racing at a place like this in a long time. They've caught up to John Arndt here. He's a lap down, and they're getting around him.
They were trying to go 3 wide for a second. I see they're trying to go 3 wide for around 4th and 5th. Keegan Thompson rebounded. He's back up to around the 5th, I believe.
You see the damage on the number 5 machine. I don't think that's affecting him too much. Turner in the outside wall just a little bit. And I don't think experience means much if you're going to hit that outside wall or not. We've seen Sam Adio and Turner hit the outside wall here today, but as well as some rookies as well hitting that outside wall throughout the event here at Atlanta. Nathan Baird looking back to the inside. Baird would love to win this race in back-to-back years. He would love to show the world that he means something. Winning that championship last year, of course, I think that was enough to show the world that he meant something. But Baird doing a heck of a job right now for his own team, looking to get Ford their first win of the year here in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. He gets around Daniel McMillan for the top position.
As you saw in turn 1 and 2, Shane Lake got into the wall. It's going to cause him to lose a few positions.
Shane Lake falls back for Velocitar Racing, but he's still in it with everybody else. You got Patrick Smith up here, Zachary Fitzwater as well. Can't count out guys like Nicholas Samadio. Andrew Miller. Miller, man, I tell you, this guy knows how to win when you least expect it. Got that race victory at Auto Club. When they came down the pit lane for their pit stop in that race, he ended up staying on the gas a lot longer than everybody else and surpassed everybody, I should say, as they came down the pit lane, made the pass on the outside as they came in, and because of that move, he ended up getting that race victory in the Napa 400 a couple weeks ago. And now he's moving his way through the field once again, looking really solid in number 24 for Zidell Motorsports. His teammate, Nicholas Samadio, and his other teammate, Fisher G, have hit the outside wall a couple of times in this race. And that's a thing now in this race. That is a major factor in how this race is going to play out. How many times will these guys hit that outside wall, and how will it affect the leaders as this race goes along? As we got a new race leader, Reagan Whitlock to the inside of Nathan Baird. Help from Daniel McMillan on the inside lane now.
As you can see, it's mostly the same 3 guys challenging for the lead. I think we're going to see one of those 3 in victory lane at the end of this race.
We might have to see here. You got Diego Yepes moving his way through the field for the Beast Racing Organization, Marty Johnson's team. Haven't had much success so far this season, but they got the hometown sponsor of Arby's on the machine, and that might be helping them out a little bit. The hometown sponsor is doing pretty well in this race. You got Whitlock continuing to dominate in the 92. McMillan, though, going to the inside in the 79 machine, side by side for the race lead. But I think you guys can notice the difference in the racing now than what we saw last year. They are spread out now. We don't have this big pack, this huge cycle. And this is intense stuff. Shane Lake almost in the outside wall. They are on edge here at Atlanta, and I'm loving it. Great stuff here in the SunTrust 500 as these guys are putting it to the limit here in this race. As Whitlock overshoots it right there, and Diego Yepes going to take second away from the 92.
Part of them goes up high because it's a fast line, but I think they're just searching for grip right now. They're struggling 25 laps in here, and they haven't pit since about 20 laps, I believe.
And a lot of those guys did not even take tires. Some of these guys who are up front right now probably did, which is why they're up front at the moment, but everyone's basically on the same cycle fuel-wise, and once we get the next cycle, we're going to have these guys pretty much be on the same set of tires. Now, all these guys back in here, you got Cody Sill, who started on the pole kind of midway through the field right here. He's 13th. The guy who started on the top position for the restart, Ryan Durrani, has fallen back significantly. He's 20th right now behind Thomas Troxel and Nicolay Sykes. You got Gatlin down here, Nathan Stapleton, last week's winner, two-time winner already of the season. Alexander Rowe not doing too bad, trying to rebound after he had a couple of tough races at Vegas and California. And he's currently running in the 14th position, looking to get North State Racing their third win of the year, just in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. He also had a win with Trey Smith in the Turkey Hill Series this year. As we go back to the race lead, Nathan Baird taking it back from Reagan Whitlock. Great job out of Nathan Baird here, looking to win this race 2 years in a row. Do you think he's going to be able to do it in number 16?
You know, he might. He has a strong car currently. It just depends. I believe this race is going to end on fuel strategy, probably. But Nathan Baird has a good chance at it.
And you mentioned something very important right there, fuel strategy. They came down lap 6. And we'll see, especially if this thing stays green, on how long they can go on a tank of gas. Of course, everyone topped off on that last caution, which it was lap 6 into lap 7 when they came down. So it's going to be interesting to see if this does become a fuel mileage race at the end. It's very possible it could be, considering when they came down. Andrew Miller moving his way through the field. He's 6th right now. Sam Medea right behind him. He's hit the wall a couple of times, but still running very solid in the number 48 machine. Shane Lake's up here. Brad Stover, Patrick Smith side by side for the 9th position. How about Bradley Ream? Bradley Ream was pretty much involved in that accident that we had earlier on in the race, and now he's just outside the top 10. One guy who's moving his way through the field here is Alexander Rowe in the 25. He's going to give 2 for 1 right there to the inside of Patrick Smith for the 10th position. Great run for Alexander Rowe here at Atlanta.
As you can see, Whitlock falling back. He's going to get passed now by Andrew Miller, I believe. Andrew Miller just looking for that inside line. He's been doing good all day lately, and he's currently up to 5th.
Yeah, Miller is starting to move his way through the field. Baird's got to be careful. These guys are coming close to that outside wall, and I mean inches from that outside wall, and judging from our screen, it's millimeters, but realistically, they are really, really close to hitting the outside wall multiple times throughout this racetrack. But sometimes they don't hit it, and those are the guys, I think, that have the advantage in this race. Starting to form a bit of a pack here as McMillan continues to lead. He took the lead away from Reagan Whitlock not too long ago. Diego Yepes up to 2nd now as Baird shoots up, and my goodness, that's as close as you can get to it without hitting it. That was tight.
These guys, they're being pretty brave here. I guess they trust in their setup with their team.
I think they do. They are pushing it to the limit. This is intense racing here, and I'm trying to catch my breath here. We're not even halfway through this race yet, and already the intense action has gotten to my voice, I'll tell you that much. I might have to let Jonathan call the rest of this thing. Miller in the outside wall. Just a little bit. He's going to lose a bit of ground there to Baird and Yepes, but Jonathan, this is some intense racing. You liking what you're seeing out there?
I am. I'm actually impressed with what these guys are doing. We haven't seen anything like this from these guys. Keegan Thompson going to put a block on Whitlock. Yepes coming on the inside. McMillan still leading. Baird fell back from the lead from trying to get up that high side, but he's forming in this little too wide. Keegan Thompson and Whitlock going to try running on the top together. It doesn't seem like they're going to do too well. It seems like the middle line is becoming more faster than the top.
And of course, something that's very important is tire wear has really become an issue at this point, and I think it's become so much of an issue that we are going to see pit stops. So, at this exact moment, we have ourselves 32 laps to go. They came down lap 6 to lap 7. 34 minus 7 is, if I can do the math correctly, about 27, 28 laps. So by the looks of it, I think everyone's going to have to make another stop in this race, only unless they really put on the clutch during this last green flag run. We're going to have to see, but they're coming down now. McMillan led those guys who came down. We have more guys coming down the pit lane. Some guys are stretching it, though. And these guys you might want to watch for here. So the number 99 of Brad Stover, Sam Adio in the 48, Shane Lake in the 15. They could stretch it to the end. It's very possible, but I don't know, Jonathan. Will they have enough fuel in the tank when they come down here, which I'd imagine they're going to come down this lap? Will they have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race?
I don't believe so. They might be a few laps short, but you never know. There could be a miracle or luck. It's a big part of racing, luck. It's going to be stretching it.
McMillan getting the advantage on the drivers who came down with them. These guys will be in an advantage to the guys who just came down because they were able to get those fresh tires, which means they're going to get those faster laps for a couple more seconds than the guys who just came down the pit lane. Of course, you got the 16 of Nathan Baird coming off here. He came down at a different time than McMillan, but it looks like he'll rejoin this pack, possibly take the lead away from the 79. Then 79 of McMillan's got a full head of steam, and he might drive right by the 16 of Nathan Baird here, but we got ourselves a very interesting scenario here because if we don't get a caution, which it is possible we could end up with one later on in the race, which would allow these guys to come down the pit lane and top off, we could see a fuel mileage race out of these guys. So guys like McMillan and Baird, they might not be able to make it, but Sam Adio, if I'm trying to locate him on the racetrack, Shane Lake actually won the race off of those guys. Shane Lake might be in the position to win this race if it becomes a fuel mileage race. That's the big question. We really don't know what we're going to expect later on in the event. So with that in mind, we're just going to go ahead and take it as it is. Nathan Baird, the new race leader here at Atlanta. McMillan in the 79. McMillan has raced an intensely clean race. That's not the right adjective for clean, but you know what? You get the idea. He has not hit that outside wall yet in this race. He's done a great job. He's getting passed right there by Andrew Miller. Miller seems to have a very fast car looking for his second win of the season. If Miller wins, going to open up the first 5 races of the season with only 3 different winners. They're trying to get around John Arndt right here on the outside lane. Miller almost got into him right there, and he's still behind him.
Arndt's going to give Barrett a little advantage here. Miller's going to try passing him on the high side as well as McMillan and Yepes. I think they're going to get around him.
They will. And don't look now. Alexander Rowan, the 25 Daytona 500 champion. Won last week at Phoenix as well. He's 5th. Reagan Whitlock still in this thing in the 92, running 6th. Bradley Ream trying to hold on to that points lead. I think with the run he's got right now, he will, even though Whitlock is ahead of him. But he's in the top 10. Nikolai Sykes, solid run for Angel Racing and Nikolai Sykes. And then you got Shane Lake and Silas Orta rounding out the top 10. Zachary Fitzwater's been up here as well in the number 9 machine. Fitzwater currently just outside the top 10 in 11th. He's going to go ahead and take 10th away from Silas Orta right there. Then way back is Ryan Durrani. The top 11 have pretty much pulled out. And then 6.5 seconds behind is Ryan Durrani and Brad Stover in this whole pack right here. Might want to watch for this pack. They could end up wrecking Nicholas Samadio again. Pit road issues for this team. They were dominating at Phoenix last week. Ended up coming down the pit lane and falling behind, and they just could not get the run. They finished 14th after leading a majority of the race. And once again, losing a ton of time on the pit lane here in Atlanta. Pit road issues for the number 48 team of Nicholas Samadio. Definitely haunting this team so far in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. Samadio with a solid run in the championship so far, as he's 19 points behind. But he could be the points leader if all those issues have not happened to him this season. Shane Lake moving to the inside of Bradley Ream and Nikolai Sykes. Had 3 wide there for a moment, and looks like Lake's going to take it away from the number 40 machine. Back to the race lead. It's still Baird, and it's still McMillan. 1-2 here at Atlanta. Baird seems to have the strongest car, but the big question is, will these guys have enough fuel? I'd imagine if this stays green that they are going to have to make another stop in this race before we're finished up here.
I believe there's going to be one more stop in this race, maybe just to top off fuel, but I don't think there's going to be another tire stop.
We'll We'll have to see. Strategy's definitely going to play out. I would imagine if they do have to make another stop, it's going to be topping off the gas and going. Alexander Rowe on the outside of Diego Yepez. Rowe is now up to the 3rd position, trying to take it at least from Yepez, but Yepez, the stronger corner right there in the 88 machine. Andrew Miller also here as well. We have 2 past winners so far this season, and Alexander Rowe and Andrew Miller right behind these guys in this lead pack with a shot at victory here today. You got Reagan Whitlock right there. Bradley remaking it 3 wide. I would imagine that these guys who are leading this race are hoping for a caution. They don't want to have to conserve fuel while they're trying to go for the race lead. But I'd imagine these guys are not saving fuel right now. They're going for it here at Atlanta.
With them on each other's back bumpers, I don't know. They're probably not saving at all. But if they can get a gap, I believe they would try to save. But I don't think they have time to save as of current. That would cost them too much track time.
So Alexander Rowe moving up to 3rd. Great run for Alexander Rowe so far here at Atlanta. Guys like Rowe and Baird and McMillan, I think they're going to have to make another stop in this race. The big question, the big outlier really is Shane Lake. And the big question is, will he have to make another stop in this race? Because he came down a lap later than all those guys did, at least a lap later than those guys did. So we'll have to see if that strategy plays out for Shane Lake, looking for his first ever Chick-Fil-A Cup Series race victory. Of course, he's battling right now with Nikolai Sykes and Zachary Fitzwater. With how intense these guys are racing right now, I just don't see them making it to the end. I don't see anybody making it to the end because they're really burning up fuel right now. And there's McMillan in the outside wall. First time today he's done that. Gonna lose a little bit of ground right there, but don't look. Now Alexander Rowe. You can't stop this guy, can you?
He's
into the outside.
He's going to try to go to the outside, but there's a lapped car there. Nathan Baird getting stopped behind him on the straightaway.
That's Brett Sear, who was involved in an accident that we had earlier on in the race, getting in the way of Nathan Baird just a little bit, slowing him down just a little bit. McMillan, he used up his stuff there in the 79. Those tires have worn out, and he has fallen back. But Alexander Rowe trying to defeat the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series champion from last year. But Alexander Rowe has 6 career Chick-Fil-A Cup Series wins. He's going for number 7 here today. And if I'm not mistaken, that would tie him with guys like Matt Dalio and Caleb Hoffman and put him only 2 races behind all-time series wins leader Zachary Fitzwater, who has 9 wins in this series. But Alexander Rowe, in his rookie season, won 3 races, did not win a race in Season 7, won once last year, already has won twice this year for North State Racing. This guy's unstoppable. To the inside for the race lead on Nathan Baird, Alexander Rowe. You're gonna hear that name a lot this season, I'm pretty sure of it. New race leader here at Atlanta. It's our Daytona 500 champion.
I believe with this
Baird,
run,
my goodness, again.
I believe with this run, he's probably gonna get pretty far away from Baird and probably get a gap between.
We're going to have to see what Rowe can do, but that number 25 is very strong. He clawed his way through that pack and went right to the top of the positions ahead of Nathan Baird. But Baird trying to stay with him in the number 16, doing a good job at the moment, holding on to the back bumper, but that's not going to work. Tried a little too hard. In the outside wall goes Nathan Baird, and now Diego Yepez taking the 2nd position away. Here's a dark horse for this race. I don't believe Yepez has led a lap yet, but he has been in this top 5 pretty much the entire day for Beast Racing. Great day for Beast Racing. Both of their drivers in the top 10 as you got Fitzwater right there. Just behind Nikolai Sykes in the 10th position. Realistically, all these guys in the top 10 still have a chance of winning this race. I'd imagine everyone else is going to be a little bit far behind and have a shot at this one. Silas Orta there. LJ Sameto, Brad Stover, Nick Smith, Ryan Durrani, Nathan Stapleton, Sebastian Kukulon, Alonzo, Nathan Faden. You got Cody Sill back in there, Sam Manoskin. Sam Anio's fallen back, and so has Keegan Thompson. We really didn't see Thompson there at the end of those pit stops, but he had a bad pit stop in number 5. Tough break for those guys. Ace Garcia back in here, Thomas Troxel, Fisher G. And you got Gatlin Downey, Tristan Allen deep in the field, Patrick Smith, Jesse Turner with a tough run in the Chick-fil-A machine. You got Mark Davidson back in there as well. Matt Dalio, not a good day for him either. Bartow and Garlington, also tough days for those guys, and they are the last 2 drivers on the lead lap. And as a matter of fact, they might not be on the lead lap for too much longer. Here comes Alexander Rowe. And they could be a factor on these leaders here soon.
Nathan Baird already back up to third from his little incident in the wall, already giving pressure behind Diego Yepes. Whitlock into the wall as well.
Baird's going to try for second on Diego Yepes as Alexander Rowe, a guy who I don't think many of these competitors want to see lead this race because, as we have seen so far this year, he has been difficult to beat. Of course, he's had issues at Vegas and California. If he didn't have issues at those places, who knows? He may have all the wins this season. But Baird might be the challenger here, and Chick-Fil-A Cup Series champion. If there's going to be anybody who can beat Alexander Rowe, it's going to be a champion. Nathan Baird, winner of this race last year, looking to get back to the race lead before the next cycle of pit stops, if we get another cycle of pit stops. Here's a guy who's moving his way through the field very fast. Shane Lake, all of a sudden, going for the 4th position on Daniel McMillan. Looks like he's going to take it away. How about that for Shane Lake? Great run for this team. And like we mentioned, they might be a team that could make it to the end of the race without having to make another stop in this one.
Shane Lake's probably going to be stretching in, but he might have enough fuel. We're not sure if he does or not.
We're going to have to see. We're going to see here very soon. Coming to 9 laps to go in the SunTrust 500 for Alexander Rowe, but fuel is the big issue at this point. Will they have enough in the tank to make it to the end? Or will they have to come down, and will somebody be able to stay out when everyone else comes down? Miller in the outside wall. The tires are really giving out now. Seen a lot of guys hit that outside wall as of late, and Miller going to fall back a little bit in the 24. Tough break for Miller right there, but he's still got a great run. That's the benefit of this huge gap that this pack has on the rest of the field. Let me tell you, Nathan Baird's coming here in the number 16. He actually might have a run to the inside on Alexander Rowe for the race lead. Going to try to get to the bumper. He's got it. He got him arrow loose. And Nathan Baird going to take the position back away from Alexander Rowe here at Atlanta.
Baird, good move by Baird, moving Rowe. Just used the air as his advantage and worked for him.
I think Shane Lake's a guy to watch out for here. The number 15 going to take third away here, or look to take it from Diego Yepes. Shane Lake looking really strong here for Velocity Racing. They're looking for their first win of the season. As a matter of fact, Shane Lake going for his first ever win in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series here today. Alexander Rowe. Going to be a tough guy to beat here. Same with Nathan Baird. They have actually put a gap on third place right there. And Rowe going to go back to the inside for the race lead. Coming to 6 to go here in the SunTrust 500 in Atlanta. Alexander Rowe and Nathan Baird, the two dominant guys. Will it be one of these two, or will it be somebody else?
With how they're racing right now, we might get to see a photo finish at Atlanta.
We'll have to see. We've seen them before. Remember, Garrett Sonora's win all the way back in Season 4. It was actually Garrett Sonora's last Chick-fil-A Cup Series win. He got him to Cameron Black in that one. That was a photo finish at the line. We could see it out of Alexander Rowe and Nathan Baird. We're just going to have to see. 5 laps to go. Is anybody coming down yet? No, they are not. I know Daly was one of the first guys to come down. He is yet to come down the pit lane. Oh, Baird trying to get on the outside here. That's not going to help him out. Rowe's going to pull away once again. This will be something. If Alexander Rowe can pull off his 3rd win, he would have won at this point over half the races this season if he can pull this one off. Yepes looking down low. And here we go. Pit stops beginning. Will they all have to come down, or will somebody be able to make it?
Shane Lake already trying to look on that back bumper of Nathan Baird. He is there. He's going to drive it up high. Almost got in the wall there.
These guys are going to have to come down. Alexander Rowe leading the race, but I think he's going to have to pit for fuel. Looks like he's cutting down right here. Shane Lake in the number 15 is going to stay out for now, but he's coming to 3 laps to go. I do not see Shane Lake winning this race. I think he's going to have to come down again. But fuel drama at the end of this one here in Atlanta. Who is going to pull off the race victory? These guys are going to have to top off on fuel right here. Alexander Rowe in the 25 as the race leader coming down. He's done. Whitlock coming right behind him right there. Nathan Baird on the same cycle as Rowe. He's going to beat him off the pit lane. Race leader Shane Lake for now. Shane Lake coming down the pit lane, I do believe. Don't see him yet. Believe he's still out there. Shane Lake in the number 15. Will he be able to make it? He continues to lead.
He's gonna try.
I think he might try it. Nah, you know what? I see Bradley Ream cutting down. Ream's going to come down. But Shane Lake in the number 15 going to try to pull the strategy off, and I think he's going to do it. White flag for Shane Lake in Atlanta. Fuel mileage here in the SunTrust 500. He's the only guy. He is the only driver who has stayed out on the racetrack so far as I know. And if he can pull this one off, it is going to be a great win for this team. Velocity Racing and Shane Lake. It's going to be his first career Chick-Fil-A Cup Series race victory, but he's going to fake them all out and get the win in the SunTrust 500. Shane Lake wins at Atlanta.
What a dark horse.
Wow. And it's going to completely flip over the entire finishing order of this race. Bradley Ream in the 40, I believe, took the white flag, so he'll be able to finish on the lead lap. Cody Sill currently scored in the 3rd position, and Nathan Stapleton in the 97 also stretched it enough to finish in 4th, meaning the guys who were battling up front this entire race are going to finish 5th and 6th. Nathan Baird and Alexander Rowe. Not exactly the positions they wanted. But Shane Lake is your race winner here at Atlanta. After all of that, it came down to fuel mileage. And it's all because of that one caution that we had when we had it on lap 6. Those guys came down, and it pushed the strategy over. But Shane Lake was the only driver to be able to make it the whole way. My goodness.
That was a really surprising finish. I did not expect him to try to push it, but hey, he made it.
He did. Shane Lake able to do it. We were focusing on Shane Lake there because he's one of the last guys to come down. Ended up beating off Sam Medeo and those guys, and he was able to conserve. And you might have noticed, like, at the beginning of that green flag run, he had backed it off a little bit, I do believe, and then he went for it. And when he went for it, he ended up taking the win. And he's the only guy to finish on the lead lap here at Atlanta, as you can see on your screen. Bradley Ream, Cody Sill, and Nathan Stapleton able to get great runs. The good thing is, though, at least those guys who were battling, they're going to get good points days nonetheless. Nathan Baird, Alexander Rowe, Diego Pez, and Reagan Whitlock. All those guys running up front, they're going to all get top 10s here today at least, but not the positions they wanted exactly. But for your first ever race commentating with me, it was a crazy one. What do you make of all that happened here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway?
Me personally, I'm still trying to process the events that have taken place in this race. That was a hard hit for Haslam early going, and came down to pit strategy. Pretty fun race to commentate.
Yeah, it definitely was, and it was great racing out there on the racetrack, but, I mean, I don't know if I want to say unfortunately it came down to fuel mileage, because realistically nothing ultra goofy happened. We kind of expected it. But all that great racing we had for the race lead really wasn't for much except for 5th place. Shane Lake, though, I mean, he definitely deserves this win because he pulled it off completely perfectly. I'm not even speaking correctly. I'm just so, like, frazzled on this race. He pulled it off so well. He was the only one to be able to make it at the end. Everyone else came down except for Shane Lake. So he pulled it, and he got it. First career Chick-Fil-A Cup Series race victory for Shane Lake. And the number 15 in Velocity Racing. Oh, boy. I'm still catching my breath on that.
Those guys must be happy. They're going to probably celebrate all night.
They probably will. Knowing Shane Lake, I think he will. Point standings. Bradley Ream continues to hold on as he finished 2nd in this race, so a 16-point lead for him. Reagan Whitlock still 2nd. Nathan Baird with this solid run going to be 3rd in the points. Ryan Durrani and Zachary Fitzwater. They are 4th and 5th. Alexander Rowe, Nicholas Samedeo, Andrew Miller, Shane Lake moving himself 16 positions through the field. Now 9th in the points with that race victory. And Keegan Thompson in 10th. And Bartow currently in the chase as of now. The way they're currently running, and Jesse Turner with the other wild card position, as he does have that race victory from Las Vegas earlier on. But oh my goodness, I don't even know, man. That was a wild race. They were hitting the wall, they were sliding all over the place, but in the end, none of that mattered because Shane Lake was the only guy who didn't need to come down at the end, and he gets the race victory here in the SunTrust 500. What a race here from Atlanta. If you thought that was good, we're going to head to Homestead next week, and for the first time ever, the Homestead race will not be the finale, so that'll be interesting to see how it goes down in the New Era 400 there at Homestead, Miami. But I'd expect very similar race. It is a shorter race, though, so we shouldn't expect fuel mileage to come into play. I think that's a big reason why fuel mileage came into play in this race, because it was a 500-mile race and not a 400-mile like Las Vegas was earlier on in the season. But definitely looking forward to that race from the Homestead Miami Speedway. Going to be another Friday night race. I know you guys love those Friday night events. And we are going to have that, I believe, 8 p.m. Eastern Time next Friday from the Homestead Miami Speedway New Era 400 in the Chick-Fil-A Cup. But either way, we're a quarter of the way through the regular season. We have seen pretty much everything so far. And we're just getting started here in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series season number 9. It's been one heck of a season so far. I hope you continue to enjoy it with us here on Napa Fan. On behalf of Jonathan Logan, thank you so much for calling the race. Did a great job, and we'll do more throughout the season. Congratulations to Shane Lake on his race victory. And that is it for me. We'll see you guys next week from Homestead. And that is it. I'm frazzled, man. I mean, this threw me for a loop. What a race here from Atlanta. I will see you guys later.